Cassandra and I were best friends as kids. Every day we were doing something fun and crazy around the house. Well, when you're homeschooled, your sister kind of has to be your friend. It was pretty simple being kids, and we were kind of atypical homeschoolers, good and God-believing. But everybody grows up eventually.
Homeschooling sucked. Like when you're being homeschooled, you don't really know what you're missing, or you don't realize something's really wrong with you, like running away from cars that pass by or being afraid of people, that's normal. But when you go to school and you have no idea how to talk to people, that was really hard. I got made fun of and picked on because I never said anything. My teacher actually thought I was retarded.
Sandra was very happy and secure and confident when she was at home, and I think a lot of her depression and unhappiness all started when she went to school. So I don't know if she's justified in blaming me for having homeschooled her or not.
Public school was pretty weird. It was like being on another planet. At school there were tons of people and tons of boys, and Cassandra became obsessed with boys, and I became obsessed with achievement. My sister would be gone late with some creep, and I'd be up all hours of the night studying. She was dating this guy who, of course, I didn't like. He was weird, mean, and annoying, and had a million other bad qualities. But she was in love, and I guess he wanted everything from her. And something happened. My sister wasn't the same. She wasn't the kind of chill and fun person, but turned into someone I didn't know, who wore too much makeup, had a tendency for black, and seemed cut off from the world.
Well, I guess I told her that it was normal for teenagers to be depressed and that she shouldn't be taking a bunch of medication because it's a lot easier just to take a medication than to try to deal with your problems. I told her she should try to change her lifestyle, and maybe if she was happier with the way she was living, that might help her with her depression.
I told my best friend at school that I'd been cutting because it'd gotten so bad that I'd had probably like 20 marks up my sides. My whole arm was covered, my legs. And he went to the guidance counselor, and they called my mom, and they told her about it. She confronted me in here on this bed, and I told her what happened. I started crying, and she didn't do anything. She didn't hug me. She didn't ask like what she could do to make it better. She just asked me, why.
I don't know if this happened exactly the way Cassandra said it. It might have, but my mom was going through a lot too. She was taking classes to get a nursing degree and had 6 other children besides Cassandra to take care of. My mom herself seemed rather depressed most of the time.
I don't know if I could have prevented her from leaving. She was at that point almost 18, and you can't just tell somebody they can't, to stay home. I knew she wasn't going into a good situation, and I told her, and I always told her she could come home, but she chose not to. And you try to give somebody advice or try to do things that you think are right, and sometimes they don't always turn out that way, and sometimes they don't listen.
When I was in high school, it was my senior year, I was dating this guy, and as soon as I was 17, I moved in with him and his parents, and that was when I was on the Prozac. He went to a lot of the meetings with me, with my therapist. We ended up breaking up because I went a little crazy.
What happened?
Well, we ended up fighting a lot because I'd get really jealous over anything. And like one time, he had to go to his cousin's birthday party, and I tore up all our prom pictures and all the animals he'd given me, and his mom found out, and she ended up calling me psycho and crazy, and he told me to leave, and we ended up getting into a physical fight, so I did end up leaving for that night.
I don't know. I mean, everybody's has highs and lows, and everybody has times when they don't think as clearly as they should, and I don't know, I guess I tend to deny that she has a mental disorder just because she's my daughter.
Like, they're telling us that we don't have anything wrong, but I think their whole lives they've been suffering from depression, and they don't even realize that they're so blind to their own depression that they won't face the facts that their kids have a problem until something really drastic happens. Like, until you go to the hospital, that was when they realized something was wrong. But just because I can hold it in and I can hide things doesn't mean I'm not messed up inside. Just means that I can hold it in better.
Late in my teen years, I was severely depressed, and I actually went to see a counselor a few times, but I never thought I had any kind of mental disorder. That's just part of growing up. It's just hard to deal with the world in general. It's hard to deal with not being a kid anymore and having to grow up and face the world. And
the relationship between my mom and Cassandra has always been weird. My mom thinks Cassandra should grow up and get past her problems, and Cassandra thinks my mom caused a lot of her problems. Neither are blameless. Cassandra has no idea how hard it is to raise a big family, and my mom doesn't know everything Cassandra's gone through.
I think my family's in the same boat as I am and concerns with that. I think a lot of our depression came from our family because our family is always depressed and they don't know how to deal with it.
What about your parents?
They're always depressed. I think that we're all depressed, and none of my family knows how to deal with it, so how am I going to go to them to deal with it?
We certainly aren't depressed all the time. We have a lot of fun times at home, and all my brothers and sisters are smart and funny people. It's just hard living with so many people in a little house.
I think having problems and being different is normal.
So do you think Cassandra has like more or less problems than your other kids?
I don't think she has any more problems than any of my other kids. I think maybe she has a harder time coping with them.
I get really depressed because I can't find a person. Like, instead of having an effect where I didn't want anyone to be there, I just have to have someone there all the time now to sort of cope with those feelings.
I never liked any of Cassandra's boyfriends. They seemed like a waste of time. And I knew that none of them ever really knew my sister. Well, it was hard to know her. She was always absorbed in being pretty and acting that way. When I was very little, I looked up to Cassandra. She was pretty and smart and very artistic. But she would draw for her boyfriends, as they were each her muse, and she only cared about what they thought.
Even if you're never going to find it, the thought of having somebody, I like to draw it because that's what I want. I just want somebody who can accept me for everything that I am and still love me for it. And when I find that, I won't feel alone, and I won't have to take medications to deal with it, because I'll be able to talk to that one person about anything.
Well, what would you say to someone who said you don't need that to be, like, say, happy?
I probably don't need it, but it's what I want. And if you want something your whole life, then I don't know, when I've had it, when I thought it was real, everything was fine and I was happy, but without it, I just feel empty, and I try to fill my time with stuff to keep me from thinking about the want for it. The way I see it is I just want someone that I can really trust, and that's why I was so obsessed with Ryan for a period of time, because the two people that hurt me the most through rape, I was dating them. They both said that they loved me, yet they did like horrible things to me when they did that. They let me cry, they let me hit them, and they didn't stop. So someone can tell you they love you and do that. It's kind of confusing when you want to try to find someone. The first person that took my virginity was my first love. So to find love again after that, it's pretty confusing.
Well, why do you keep trying if it keeps turning out so bad?
Because it's what I want more than anything. Just another person to rely on, so that I don't feel so alone.
As I look through Cassandra's sketchbook, there's picture after picture of beautiful women, of happy couples so intensely in love. One kiss and caress after another, each drawn out into detail, especially in the eyes and lips. She draws what she wants. She wants true love and understanding. It's impossible. And maybe she knows that already. She keeps trying after one disappointment to another. I've been trying to understand her, but I don't know if I ever will.